Hello, greetings, and welcome to a very smiley spring has sprung like Sofa Broker. And would you believe it? You are so patient. This is our first of the year, but all good things come to those that wait, don't they, Daniel McPeak? Welcome.
They do.
Hello, old friend. How are you?
My dear friend, how are you? How have you been?
Can I just say the first bonjour of the spring? It's a bonjour à la mode kind of day.
Collage too. Très bien.
And you're looking quite tanned.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. It's bloody hot where I've been.
Oh, yeah.
Or I thought it was hot compared to a pacey-faced Londoner. You're obviously used to it because we know you are constantly over in Côte d'Azur, Monaco, south of France, and anywhere else you can get to.
Just call me Phileas Fogg.
No, mate. Weren't he the geezer that flew around the world in a...
In a hot air balloon?
I was going to say umbrella. Yeah,
that would have been impressive.
It was a hot air balloon.
That's Mary Poppins.
It is, mate. I don't. Yeah.
So how was Florida?
Yeah, so I've just been out to Florida, Tampa.
Yeah,
exactly.
Not a part of Florida I know, but
I'd never been before. What an amazing place!
Yeah. Do you fall asleep on the beach?
No, I was just kept so busy with what the stuff what I'm now over there doing, and it's just incredible. The the atmosphere and the energy. Always when you go to the States, wherever you are, it's picked up. You've always said that.
Up, which is great, but sometimes it's up just for the sake of brand, whatever it might be, just to keep a broker network, fizzing. And it can be a little bit, fakey. I get the feeling that the mood, especially in Florida and amongst American brokers, and you can tell me because you're straight from the horse's mouth, the mood seems upbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything has got a slightly happier feeling about it, right? We're always buzzing when we go out to New York, right? And we go out to New York, and it's always, New York's a bit different to the rest of, the rest of America.
Try not to giggle.
Yeah, but they tell you how it is. It's like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, do this, do that. Let's have another coffee. That's Chicago. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, Florida and the places I was in Florida, around that Tampa area, just all seemed, quite alive. And there was just a major storm there a little while ago.
Yeah.
And, it had caused...
like a hurricane?
Yeah, and it had caused a big problem. It flattened a load of properties, and a lot of people were, had to relocate. But it's also, with that comes opportunity. And I was talking to a couple of brokers, because I was out there for a broker event, and they was all saying now, there's an energy there, that feels... And you're getting now across... America at the moment.
So what do you think? So I think this is really interesting to talk about, sort of UK. We've always had that UK-America thing. That's just been us for the last 10 years or so. And obviously it's been very New York focused, the American side of it. So they all say Florida's kind of like the land of opportunity. The sun shines, it's beautiful weather, everyone's happy. And, the white teeth is whiter than everywhere else and all that kind of stuff. Do you think it is because it's just a nice place to be and that's why that particular brand took people there? Or do you think that is just their mindset? And I'm not going to go on about 6% versus 1% and all that kind of stuff because we've done that ad infinitum. But do you think that's sort of a bit like spring here? You can feel there's a little bit of something in the air. I was out and about with some people looking at some pretty high-end stuff yesterday in London, and it felt better because the sun was shining. Is that the kind of vibe?
There's the main reason is... You don't need a crash helmet to ride your Harley.
You're so basic.
You can just jump on your bike. Yeah. A guy walked past me.
Although I believe bikes aren't good enough for you these days. Aren't we talking about sort of Italian supercars?
I would still be more interested in the bikes, mate, no matter what they are. A guy rode past me on a Harley. I was like, where's his helmet? And then another one went past on a Kawasaki, and I was like, okay, they don't need one. And I asked someone I was out and about having breakfast early morning because obviously getting used to the jet lag. And I said, what's all these geezers doing riding around on bikes without crash helmets? They forgot them or what? And he went, this is Florida. We do what we want. And I was like, wow. Wow. And I think to get to your point about, is it just that it's up? I think this is now filtered across the whole of the States, right? I feel that, especially when you come into our sector, and I can talk about that because I know about it, other sectors I can't, and I'm also going to talk about people in general, they really buy in to what they're going to do next. And That is happening in the UK, but hasn't really took off.
Do you think that's because there's not enough of us yet?
Yeah. There's still a fear.
When I say us, obviously
You're talking about brokers.
the self-employed broker model.
Yeah. There's still a fear, I think, of being pioneers.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that thing, you know, you don't want to be a pioneer, you know, because you get shot in the face, right?
Especially in London, ironically.
And that, do you know, we're going to change that. We're going to bring a change to that is going to be recognised, and we're going to bring that change around quickly. Because I think if people do sit down and actually listen to what's happening over there, look, that what's happening over here is coming to the UK. Fact.
Well,
okay? In brokerage, right? It's like, but I mean, it's now coming.
We were steering that first boat.
Yeah, mate, we were the pioneers in the beginning, and so far we've managed to like jiggle along.
We certainly were in terms of sticking your head above the parapet kind of agency, i.e., you know, that very American style of it.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's a sort of the more sort of staid British versions, and then there's the more data-driven, slightly more
That's the bit that's going to have to change. There is going to be a change into that, you know, staid. You know, I say it all the time. You say it all the time. Tired sense of yesterday.
Do you mean in terms of the new brokers still having the same mentality? I don't want to stick my head above the parapet, kind of.
Yeah, that they are. We're going to be at the front. That they are changing that. Even the guys like me and you, the old guys, you know, have been doing it forever. I mean, you're nearly 82, and you've done really incredibly well.
It's amazing. I can still talk with these false teeth in.
I mean, it is. It's fantastic. You're going to want to sleep for the rest of the day when we finish, but carry on. But it's like it's that they're now looking, and they were the people that was blocking. They were like, no, we're blocking this, and you see a lot of companies. I won't name them in the UK.
So actually, your inbox must have gone absolutely Looney Tunes when you were posting from Florida, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, so what you're seeing now is in the UK, they're now all doing, so they don't want to jump in totally, right? So you're getting a load of big brands, especially in London, doing the hybrid model. So, you know, come into the office and don't. And what that is, that's easy entry into doing this. Yeah. As people get more and more used to that, they're going to get more and more used to actually being an American style real estate broker. And with that comes the buying. You know, they're going to have to really buy in mainly to their self, because if they buy into their self, they're going to be so determined to make it happen. But, you know, it's like in the UK at the moment, you know, we like it when it rains. It's like, oh, you know, it's pissing on us. Do you know what I mean? You're fantastic at, you know, saying, you know,
I'm only happy when it rains.
You know? First day of spring, it's like, oh, it's too hot. I can't go out. You know, we love to moan. The British people love to moan, but they love to moan. They also like to laugh at the fact they love to moan. Right? And that's endearing. And with that endearment comes an energy that can come over from the US that isn't all hamburgers and Corvettes. It can be dressed up in a way that can... Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But it can be dressed up in a way that can be delivered to a UK audience that can digest it.
So what we're actually heading towards is, whilst we thought maybe before the watershed moment, it wasn't. So we're actually now heading towards the watershed moment, i.e. the bit where it's acceptable, it's okay, you don't have to hide behind the curtains when you do your social media posts because you're one of these newfangled newfangled brokers. You know, that classic thing of people who are tiptoeing in. So the whole tiptoeing thing is you've just got to go, nope, not tiptoeing in, that's it. And if it's not perfect and it's not great, or if that bloke from a corporate agency laughs at me, I don't care, because I'm getting good fees, I'm getting my brand out there, and this is the moment that it's actually going to happen.
So there'll be a couple of guys coming on the show, and we'll name them at the end, that we've just spoke to and organised for them to be here, who's very happy. You know, a couple of serious sales guys, you know, are doing serious...
Americans.
Serious figures, right? Serious figures. And they're going to come on and talk to us and you guys about what they're doing. One of the things I learned, and this went bang into me, right? It like hit me. So, not on the... We'll talk about the Friday in a minute, but on the Saturday, it was the Saturday? Yeah. The Saturday, there was, you know, a very important... meeting that went on, and I was part of someone part of being, part of that. And the guy was he had done, he wasn't a sales trainer. He had done a lot of sales. So he could be called, you listen to him. When he shut up, you listen. He said something that was really important, right? He said, what you need to do, and I've never said this to you, so I'm saying this to you for the first time as well. So, as my brother that is, 20 years long, what you need to do with social media, okay? Mm-hmm. How much social media do you consume? Just stop and hold that in your head. And how much social media do you make? And what you need to do, you try and you need to make as much social media content as you consume.
What? That is impossible.
There you go.
And that's not me being Eeyore. That is just, seems to me, to be in physical impossibility.
Does two things for you, right? One, it doesn't dumb you down into sitting there looking into, I can't remember, Stanley, what do you call it when someone's doom scrolling? Yeah, when you're sitting there just doom scrolling. So imagine how much you do spend just wasting time, right? Doom scrolling. And imagine how much more time productively you would make if you just got your camera out every now and then and
did it yourself.
And did it yourself, just on your phone, whatever it is, Nokia 10 or back in whatever it is, or the latest iPhone, and you just did a short 3 or 4 second video, and posted it. Because the people that are watching this on their phones, you then become the content creator for it, because they're looking at it and they're spending an average of 3 or 4 days, and that's probably right, 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 hours a day,
right,
scrolling, right, and you haven't made no content today. You'll probably do a Saturday or a Sunday. You might make something on a Friday afternoon.
So basically, you're the person who's looking at all the lovely cars going past, going, "Oh, that's a nice car. That's a nice car," but you're never going to get that car because you're not actually in the game.
So when you're saying that's a nice car, that's a nice car, that's a nice car, that's energy.
And the people doing the content are the guys driving past in the car.
Boom.
Okay.
And that's part of the change that's going to happen. Okay, that's part of what we're going to see. We're going to see more brokers, especially brokers, but it goes down to whatever industry you're in and you're doing. Create as much content as you consume. Stop doom scrolling. Okay, don't spend so much time on it. And next time you want to pick up your phone, think, okay, I'm just going to make a video and put it out there. Okay. There is no mistakes.
It's interesting because my Instagram account is scrappy, to say the least. And I've got about 1,000 followers. Just seems like 1,000 people who say they're followers. And yet, every time I put up very little actual real estate content up. I mean, when I say that, I mean, like tours of apartments, and like, follow me, and then the sort of speed it up, sort of classic thing that everyone does these days. And when I put something up that's just like, it could be you and me picking our noses outside Bank Station, or just doing something silly, way more engagement, just like way more,
totally,
than just your generic sort of, oh, here's me walking or someone else walking around a nice looking apartment. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean
no?
Does that show that what you mean by just doing something actually is as relevant as spending £1,000 on a super deluxe tour of a high-end luxury product?
I think people notice that, and I think that it's not real enough anymore.
Yeah.
If you've
Thank
got
God for that.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it the whole time. If something is scripted and they looking perfect and it's all great, and someone's in a Chanel suit, or someone's in a Dunhill suit, and they're walking around thinking this is the way forward and this is how it should be, they're more concerned about them and not the present purchaser, right, who they haven't met yet on Instagram or whatever that's in front of them.
But if you're a luxury agent, and this, tell me if I'm wrong, if you're a luxury agent, isn't it your absolute duty to present a luxury personality alongside the actual luxury product, which in this case is a property or a penthouse? Should you not be... So like me, for example, I always feel a bit strange going around mega deluxe places because I just dress like a normal person. So if you are a luxury agent, should you, in that respect, you shouldn't be having a picture of yourself in a casual T-shirt, having a coffee on Shoreditch High Street, because that would be...
Well,
I don't know.
Listen. We've
probably an old-fashioned.
It is, but it's also true, right? But there is a barrier we need to break down. Okay, And from what I've learned, from what I can see, doing this for years and years and years and years, is you should dress according to the people in front of you, the people you want to deal with, okay? So now, everyone's wearing quarter zips and stuff like that.
but that's not authentic. Or you're saying,
No,
at the beginning
no.
you were saying authenticity, not scripted. Authenticity is being you in that moment, which might well be a Ramones t-shirt in a bar in Hell's Kitchen.
That works, and you've got to look at the kind of people you're going to want to attract. So occasionally I wear a suit. I like wearing a suit. Okay, and I get out there and I go and do something, but I'm not going to wear a tie. I'm going to have trainers with it. I'm going to dress it down, but I'm comfortable wearing that. What I'm not going to do is go to a tailor and get something so I look like a turkey's dinner and I'm dressed up to it. I'm not going to get my hair cut the minute before I put the camera on.
Sure.
So I think I look perfect. I'm not going to put, some mascara or something on my head to dull it down so it doesn't shine so much.
So that's interesting.
I'm going to be me.
Yeah. So that takes me back. So some of the guys, as you alluded to, very, very high earning brokers at this event, in the millions a year, bringing in commissions, all, mega agents, one or two of them, right?
Yeah.
What do they look like? Were you surprised, or were they just immaculate with their electric blue suits on, Ryan Serhant style, or were they just...
No, they was casually smart to a point as if they could go on a yacht and have, a margarita and have a chat with someone there, where they could also walk across the street and, go into an apartment that was 15 million and be able to speak to the people about the apartment. There's a casual easiness that comes into it, and I can't drill it down to exactly what you're wearing or what you're doing. That depends really about the mood and the situation you're in. So you need to be comfortable. What you don't need to be is fake, right? And that's the difference. So if you're comfortable in what you're doing, do that. That can change and that can alter, right? I usually most of the time wear a t-shirt and a blazer, so I can cross over both. But that's the normal thing I wear anyway. Yeah. You have a different look, but you have
polite.
But
what was it I used to be called? Come on, you can say it. What was I called?
Was it Eeyore?
No.
Everyone knows about that.
The scruffy loft guy.
Yeah, the scruffy loft guy. But the scruffy loft guy, he has a history and a schooling, and a very strong understanding from his mum and dad growing up, and I'm talking about you, on how to talk to people that are sitting there that are billionaires.
That is my power.
And that, I'm sorry, sir, that is the difference. So you can be allowed, because when you talk in such an elegant way, and that's not faked. That's an actual way. We talk about it a lot, right? When we're going out, you're like, let me talk first then. Don't just come in and mess this up. So, I think you have to be comfortable. And being comfortable is pick up that phone now, right? Pretend you're holding your phone up, so.
What, right now?
Yeah, pretend you're holding it up.
You're beautiful.
No,
sorry, what?
Pretend you're looking into it. You're about to record. So hold it up a little bit because you're a little bit older, so you don't look like you've got a double chin. Right?
Yeah, but then I've got the lack of hair issue. There's a perfect moment where
and just say to that camera, okay, I'm about to step up to this amazing property. I'm going to walk you around and give you a look. Be back in 2 minutes.
So this...
Just do it.
Okay, this is weird because obviously I've got a camera there and a camera here, and this is actually now scripted and not authentic.
So make it authentic.
All right.
Say what you would say.
I'm going to do exactly what you would say, because you always start with this. Hi, guys.
Thanks.
Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great day. I'm just going to go and see this amazing 6,000 square foot lateral apartment with 2 terraces. It's just around the corner from Liverpool Street. I'll be back in 5 minutes to tell you all about it. Check it out.
Bosh. Right? That's what people really want.
That's all I ever do.
Yeah, but that's what people want. What we're seeing is, because we're British, we think, we need to be polished. One needs to be perfect. These are the people. Oh, let's get Annabelle on it over here, and Rupert.
But if Annabelle and Rupert are selling, £10 million apartments in the Little Boltons in Chelsea and that kind of thing, Annabelle and Rupert do have to be wandering around living that dream. Have you ever seen the guys that wander around country estates with the Land Rover and the flat cat and the Tweed and all that kind of stuff?
Works.
To us Brits, it just makes you feel, especially with my upbringing, you just look at them and go, fuck's sake, come on, guys.
But it works.
But there are people out there, especially in America or places, they go, this is amazing, this is authentic, this is how they think the English country gent is, even though nobody is like that anymore. Yeah.
Listen, and that's why, what I was saying, you don't get Annabelle and Rupert and drag them from one side of the office.
Can we get Annabelle and Rupert on the side?
Hang on. We don't drag them over to do it. They actually, if Annabelle and Rupert are actually walking around the Boltons, and that's the kind of area they're in, then naturally they should be doing that. Okay, and good luck to the Annabelles and Ruperts that are out there, because some of them are smashing it. So, what I'm saying is to boil it all down, it has to be real and has to have a sense of realism. And if you're not sitting in a place where you think this is relaxed, this is going on, switch to where you are, right? You comfortably just spoke then into the camera. Okay, can you remember the first time you did something on camera?
Is this when I rang you in a blind panic?
Yeah, let's just quickly talk about that and what the result was.
This is interesting. So I've never been a camera kind of person, which seems odd now, years later. But the very first time I did a presentation of a property was a loft apartment in Hoxton. And Dan sent me on a bloody social media course with, I can't remember her name. And I turned up and there were people telling you how to do social media. That really dates it. I'm guessing that's 2013, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a long time ago, right?
Wow.
And yeah, London, so our old loft agency probably had just started its first Instagram account.
Yeah.
So anyway, I turn up, and after about an hour, they're like, "Right, you guys, you're gonna go off with one of our sort of tutors here, and you're going to go and film some content." So we go. So I have to have some keys for a flat that we were selling. Went down there, said, "Right, go onto Facebook." I'm like, "Okay, I'm on Facebook." So give me your camera. Like, okay, this is getting weird now. She said, "I'm on Facebook Live. Go." And I walked around the flat with her following me on my phone live to friends. Really, I mean, the most embarrassing thing ever to me. Stopped, looked back at myself, and she was like, "That was amazing. That was really authentic because you know how to walk around this property." And I'm sitting there going, "That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. God, I hope no one's on Facebook at the moment."
Yeah.
And I think that probably encapsulates where people should, they're going to feel like that. But actually, you'll be surprised. And as you mentioned, if you're in the right environment like Rupert and Doodah, me in a sort of lofty type thing, then it will come naturally. And you should do it and you should embrace it.
What was it that she said to you? Do you remember her saying, because you just said it a minute ago, that was brilliant because that was authentic?
Yes.
And that's what people, I believe, and you agree, are looking for.
So here's a question. So if you are looking at this and going, you know what, they're right. Can be right occasionally. They're right. I should be doing this for my agency, whether it's an independent agency or a broker, whatever even if you're just working for a high street agent and you just want to do it. Do you think learning how to do it is the way to do it? So should you go and speak to someone and learn how to do it? Or should you just F up 10, 15 times to get to the authentic play?
Do you remember back in the day, right, you would always talk to a mirror, right? You talk to a mirror to learn your lines at school. You talk to a mirror,
to sing Duran Duran songs.
Yeah, whatever. You're talking to a mirror, right? And if we was back in the day and, it was VHS videos were around, but if we could record one there and there in a bedroom. Did you have a Betamax?
We had Betamax.
What was that, the little...
That was the smaller one, yeah.
Why is all your stuff smaller? So, can you remember, like back in the day, if we could film it, we would have loved it, right? And we practiced by using a mirror, okay, to get it perfect. Because we're taught as people, practice makes perfect. Scrub that. Forget now all about that. I really think what you just said when you were so authentic, walking around that loft, and that's me doing it. That's what it'd look like. The first take is always the best.
Yeah.
And anything you're trying to replicate after that, you're now trying too hard.
Yeah.
That becomes desperate.
Do you remember when the very first time we decided to do this? And we sat down and we had a whiteboard behind there or something on the telly.
Christ, I remember that.
Do you remember that? Yeah. And Stan had put all the stuff up and was like, "This is what we're going to talk about." And we were awful. Yeah. We literally just stop, tore the thing down, threw it in the garden and just riffed. And we still do that to this day. When we sat down, people, I know we're very professional and amazing and well attired and beautiful, but when we did sit down a few minutes ago, we did not know what we were going to talk about. And that's about as authentic as it gets.
So, and I think what we get with that, so I mean, we are comfortable with each other, so that goes on. But it's like, if you're going to meet your mate for a drink in the pub, you don't say, "Let's talk about what we get there." And that's when most of the conversations that make you laugh.
And that is a really interesting, because that riffs or segues really nicely onto one of my favourite ever Monty Python scenes in Not the Life. It was in, I've forgotten what the one that's all the sketches, Meaning of Life, and that's
is that the one with the coconuts? I did the coconut.
It's Mr. Creosote, that one. So anyway, so it's a husband and wife, as English as you like, right? This is Terry and June sort of stuff. And they're in a restaurant, and they're sitting down opposite each other, and the waiter comes along, all sort of obsequious with his black tie and stuff, and goes, sir, madam, would you like the conversation menu? And it was basically, because John Cleese is a massive fan of America. He lives there. He's married up 2 or 3 American women, I think. And he's always had this thing about the Brits being so closed, such a post-war closed shop. We can't talk to each other. We can't stick our head above. We can't upset the neighbours and all that kind of stuff. And in our world, you can't go onto social media and do something off the cuff, because what if Rupert and Annabelle see it and they think I'm just being a little bit stupid and not English enough? And I think that's really interesting. And it goes back to us trying to do the whole conversation. Exactly. We couldn't do it.
That's brilliant. That's because we couldn't. We had that thing, and in the end, we had to just say, look, just take it away.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what so that's what I learned when I was over there.
Dear. Do you remember from Spitting Image, John Major? They're all in grey. They sit John Major.
Was it his wife?
Yeah. And all he says is, the peas are nice, dear. It's so English, and I think that really translates into estate agency.
You know what? It absolutely does, and
that's my genius moment of the day.
It's a great moment, and it's amazing that you're back with that sort of power. And so that's what I learned. The main thing hit me from being over there.
Yeah, there's no conversation menu.
There's no conversation menu, and it doesn't matter if that conversation is in New York or Florida or wherever. It's the same, buying into yourself actually means going, I'm basically naked. This stuff that I'm doing or saying, what was it? The king has no clothes on, right?
Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, Emperor's New Clothes, right? There is a massive power and you won't feel it because it comes back to you from the audience, from social media. It comes back to you. So embrace that small thing of create as much content as you consume in this way, doing your own thing. And I think it'd be really interesting if we try and test it on ourselves, Sol, over the next 6 weeks, and see what the interaction is. And we'll come back at the end of this season 16. Hey, hi guys. I'm American.
Previously on Sofa Broker.
So we want to tell you how great it's been with the coffee we've been drinking over here.
So
Sally, how's your coffee?
So Sid, my son Sid.
Yeah, Sid is not loved. Went like that.
He's like that now. Right. Streak of piss. Anyway, so Sid, every time I go to a coffee shop with him, he literally will say your favourite thing: coffee's for closers. Ever since the academy days.
And that doesn't hide.
No.
The other thing I learned when I was at this event, there was in a lift, and when you came down the lift
elevator
to the lobby, elevator into the lobby. So I was looking for L for a while, couldn't see it. There is a young guy and a young woman with a coffee shop at the lobby. Straight away, you do 3-4 stops. It's like your first coffee is here. Dun, 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 dun. Right, and it's like, wah! And I'm like, mate, I don't drink coffee. I drink tea, my dear, because I'm English.
There you go.
See?
Too scared to be high.
I'm too scared of coffee because it sends me just totally mental.
You don't need coffee.
Yeah, okay. So that was kind of the cool stuff. And there's been, and that led into the reason I was there.
I think we've touched on some really interesting stuff, and just goes to show that we do this like clockwork, my friend, because this has been an absolute... I feel like I've woken up from a cold winter. And
is it like a little bear when you come out and, you're running around with your little mates? Or are you more of a mole?
I'm a mole, and I'm going...
He's a mole.
And this is, and just to bring out things like Monty Python and America and all that, this is great.
We even got the first Harleys in it.
We talked about Harleys. So look, let's come back to the beginning and the original sort of thing. Let's go full circle.
Or full lens.
What is your takeaway? You've just had a pretty amazing experience, and you don't need to go into the details of it because people get jealous, and I'm not jealous at all. Not jealous. I'm not jealous.
I won't talk about the helicopters.
What is it all about? What's the takeaway? What you come back to England and just literally a couple of days ago, what's it all about?
Well, I'm very pleased to announce that I am now part of Aperture, which is a brand that's being launched globally at the same time. That's why we was out in Tampa. We was out actually at the IndyCar Grand Prix, where Aperture was the main sponsor. I mean, we was everywhere. Start, stop line, pit line. And I actually was given a car to race around it.
Would you like to expand on what car that was?
So there was a couple. I was taken round in a Ferrari by a friend broker of mine, and then a very kind person who had one of our favourite cars, a X5 M5, souped up, massive.
Does that go around corners?
That's what I thought, right? And the nice CEO now is Michael Valdez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you all guys will get to meet him, and everyone, will get to know about him because I'm sure we'll get him on the show. But someone said to me, "Look, don't worry about going around. Go in the Ferrari when you come back. Don't worry about that. Take this car, right? This X5.
You can do what you like with it."
Yeah. And I'm looking at it thinking, and he said, "Listen," the other bloke said, "Dan, it's a great track car." So I'm like, okay. So I got in it, and the first thing is you go down straight, right? So first of all, I'm driving along, and Michael had jumped in with me. Why not? It's a bit of a tear up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it down the straight.
How long did that last?
Down the straight, and I was like, wow, right? So powerful, this car, right? Like, I think it was like 700 and something brake. It weren't normal, okay? It was mental.
In an SUV?
It was mental, right? Into the first bend, and it went round the bend like it was on rails, okay? But first thing I said to Michael was, what's that smell? And he was, I think it's the brakes. And I'm like, okay. Another couple of seconds.
Wasn't his underwear?
No. Another couple of seconds. I noticed on the back seat, I'm like, there's a baby seat. Now I'm riding the IndyCar round, right, with people taking pictures.
Are you sure you just weren't going up and down the A12 in Essex?
No, but it's a road race. So it starts as a track and it goes onto the road a bit. And then the next thing I noticed was, oh shit, I'm on the wrong side. We're bearing the walls next to you there.
But there's no side. You're on a racetrack.
Yeah, but there is because it's
the racing line.
No, but some of it is not a track. Some of it's like a road track.
Oh, I see.
It goes into the IndyCar goes in and around that.
Got you. Right.
So yeah, I mean that was all fantastic and it was all great, and that's why I was here. It was.
But it's exciting times, right?
It's very exciting times. I'm very pumped, and I'm very pleased that I managed to connect with the next thing, which is American again, because I won't stop saying, as you won't, they're the way forward on what's going on, and how everything.
Well,
should
we do
be.
know that if when it really does rock and roll with the American sort of way of doing things, and won't expand on that because we have a million times. It can be really good fun. It can be really rewarding, and just a bit more upbeat. You know what I mean?
Mate, it was like everyone, I think within the first couple of minutes, because I didn't know anyone, just everyone, this is what I started off by saying, and I'll end it on that.
Yeah.
Is they buy in to it. So they buy in personally, with their whole being, because they've bought into what the future can be. And that is the difference to the States and the UK. And I think that's what most people are going to see change in the coming months, and definitely through with what we'll be doing at Aperture. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for listening to himself. He's been brilliant. So shout out to Solly. A shout out to myself. We haven't been doing this for a while.
And Stan.
A massive shout out to, what is he, producer?
Stan.
AV guy Stan.
Well, it depends.
So listen, guys, and I haven't got that little bit of paper because we've lost it because it's been over Christmas, but let's try Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Apple, and that's it. He just shaking his head. Yeah. See you later. Good luck, guys. Until the next time. Out.